Have you ever wondered where numbers come from? Our story begins thousands of years ago in ancient civilizations. Picture this. Early humans, living in communities, began to notice the need to keep track of their belongings. They needed to count their sheep, measure their lands, and keep a record of their resources. This basic necessity is what led to the birth of numbers. They started simple, with markings on bones or stones representing a certain number of items. But as communities grew and started to trade with each other, they needed more complex systems to represent larger quantities and fractions. So they began to develop more intricate and abstract number systems. From the ancient Sumerians who gave us the base 60 system we still use to tell time, to the Egyptians and their base 10 system that heavily influences our modern-day math, numbers were evolving. So, numbers were born out of necessity, helping ancient people to make sense of the world around them. Did you know that numbers look different around the world? Let's embark on a journey across cultures to see how numbers took form. In Rome, the ancient Romans used letters to represent numbers. For example, I is 1, V is 5, and X is 10. Roman numerals are still used today, often seen on clock faces or in book chapters. Now let's hop over to Arabia. Arabic numerals, which are the most widely used numerical system today, originated here. These are the numbers from 0 to 9 that we use daily. Our last stop is China. In the Chinese language, different characters represent numbers. For example, Yi means 1, represents 2, and San stands for 3. These characters are used in everyday life, from shopping to studying. These diverse number systems reflect the rich cultural histories from which they emerged. They may look different, but they serve the same purpose: to count, calculate, and quantify. From Rome to Arabia to China, numbers truly are a universal language. Can you imagine a world without numbers? A day without hours, minutes, or seconds to guide us? How would we know when to wake up or when to catch the bus? Numbers are the silent conductors of our daily orchestra, keeping us in rhythm and harmony. Consider baking a cake. Without numbers, how would we measure the ingredients? A pinch of this, a handful of that. It might turn out delicious or it might be a disaster. But with numbers we have precision. 2 cups of flour, half a cup of sugar, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and voila, a perfect cake every time. Numbers also help us to organize information. When we go to the library, we find books arranged by numbers, known as the Dewey Decimal System. And what about our birthdays? Without numbers, we couldn't even tell how old we are. Imagine that. So, as you can see, numbers truly are essential in our daily lives. Did you know that numbers can also be magical? That's right. Numbers aren't just about counting apples or telling time. They hold within them intriguing patterns and sequences that can truly make your mind spin. One of these amazing patterns is the Fibonacci sequence. It starts with 0 and 1, and each subsequent number is the sum of the 2 before it. This sequence isn't just a mathematical curiosity. It appears everywhere in nature, from the arrangement of leaves on a stem to the shape of a hurricane. Then there's the enchanting world of magic squares, where numbers are arranged in a square grid, and all the rows, columns, and diagonals add up to the same number. It's like a little numerical puzzle waiting to be solved. Numbers are more than just practical tools for measurement and calculation. They are sources of beauty and wonder, a secret language of the universe. So, the next time you see a number, remember, it's not just a digit, it's a story, a tool, and a piece of magic.